Well, welcome to Palm Valley Church. We're so glad you decided to join us today. We're going to lift up the name of Jesus. Would you join us? Come on. Created from dust, and you came and you lived among us, and you took on our frame, you walked in our pain, and now you're taking us higher, and you stepped into time, down your life to save us. You took all our shame, on the cross it was laid, and now you're taking us higher, and we go from glory to glory to glory. We'll never be the same, we'll never be the same, and you take us higher and higher and higher. We're forever changed, we're forever changed. You call me your friend, brought into your endless kingdom, and by the blood I was made, no longer a slave, and now you're taking us higher. We go from glory to glory to glory. We'll never be the same, we'll never be the same, and you take us higher and higher and higher. We're forever changed, we're forever changed, until we reach that day. Love conquers everything. We'll cry an anthem singing, holy, holy. And when we see that day, we're standing face to face. We'll shout an anthem singing, holy, holy. Until we reach that day, love conquers everything. We'll cry an anthem singing, holy, holy. And when we see that day, we're standing face to face. We'll shout an anthem singing, holy, holy. You took on the grave, so not even death can shake us. The victor has won, and heaven has come, and now you're taking us higher. Come on! And now you're taking us higher. We go from glory to glory to glory. We'll never be the same, we'll never be the same. You take us higher and higher and higher. We're forever changed, we're forever changed. worship you. I worship you. You are here, working in this place. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, moving in our midst. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, working in this place. I worship you. I worship you. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are here, touching every heart. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, healing every heart. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, turning lives around. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, mending every heart. I worship you. I worship you. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Oh, that is who you are. 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 Oh, that is who you are. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop, you never stop working. You never stop, you never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop, you never stop working. You never stop, you never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop, you never stop working. You never stop, you never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop, you never stop working. You never stop.
Well, it has been so great to worship with you. We're going to continue in our service, and we are just so glad that you are here. Whether you're at home and sitting in the comfort of your couch, or maybe you're probably like me and my family, you might be dodging some Legos or some Barbies on the floor. Kids are running around, but we are so glad that you're here. Maybe you get an opportunity to just watch in your office or in a coffee shop with some headphones on, or maybe you're driving, and in which case, if you're driving, just listen. You no need to watch. We just are glad that you are here with us today. And we're in the middle of this series, The Great Challenge, and we have kind of been taking some steps to show love towards other people. And today, Pastor Ryan has a fantastic message giving us one of our real first challenge that we can take. And so we have a lot of resources available for you throughout this entire series. And so if you go to palmvalley.org/thegreatchallenge, we're gonna give you everything you need right there. And so I'm just gonna go through a couple things. One of them that's on there is an opportunity to buy Pastor Ryan's book. You don't need the book to go through the series, but it is a very beneficial resource to continue in learning more about Pastor Ryan's heart of the Great Challenge and what does it mean to love others. There's also a great opportunity on there to see what's happening in PVC kids and PVC students online. See, adults, we're not the only ones taking the Great Challenge. Kids and students are also taking the Great Challenge. And so there's some great videos for your kids. Students are live on YouTube each and every week. They can join in if you have a middle school or high school student there, but you can find those links on palmvalley.org/thegreatchallenge as well. Also, one of the things Pastor Ryan talked about last week is getting involved in a challenge group. And so you can take the Great Challenge and just learn about it on the weekend, but it's something else to apply it and to talk about that with people happening. So we've got groups going online. We've got some small groups. We've got behind us, you can see the tables are set up. This is where we're meeting on the middle of the week with some larger challenge groups while still maintaining some social and physical distancing. Anyway, get in some type of group to discuss this. You can sign up at palmvalley.org/thegreatchallenge. In fact, I want to give a couple shout outs. Over this last week, we have had over 400 people say they are taking the Great Challenge with us at Palm Valley Church. And I'm going to highlight just a few names of people that have taken the step to say they want to join one of these challenge groups. You got Mike and Nancy, you have Amber Jean, Chad, Tiffany, Kathleen and Rob, there's Jenny and Arthur, Connor and Brittany, Timothy, Bridget, Kyle and Meredith. The list goes on and on. You are not alone taking this challenge. And so regardless of where you're at, jump in one of these challenge groups, sign up for them, and talk about what God is doing in your life through the Great Challenge. And finally on there, there's something we're real excited about is we want you to share your story. We want to hear what God is doing through the Great Challenge in your life, and just be able to be encouraged by hearing what is happening at our church and being able to share some of those stories throughout the week on our daily devotions and as well throughout some social media posts and right here on the weekend. So palmvalley.org/thegreatchallenge, you can share your story right there as well as on our social media. Send us a message or comment on our post. In fact, right now we want to take a second and just listen to Chris's story as he took the challenge last week and joined a challenge group.
Well, hey, everyone. We are kicking off this great challenge. We're so excited. Hopefully, a lot of you have been able to start with your challenge groups and that. Today, I wanted to have a quick conversation with my good friend, Chris Eldridge. Chris, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing really well. Thanks.
Awesome, man. But Chris, you're in my small group. And so I hopefully you enjoy that. I don't know if you're going to share any like dark secrets or something about not liking it, but you jumped in on this great challenge along with your family and then the rest of our small group in that. And so as we kicked off and we had our first meeting on Monday night, this past Monday night, I wonder, could you just share just a little bit, what was it like to maybe take this step of, yes, we're going to take the great challenge? How did you feel about that first stepping into it?
I'll say first, you know me well enough to know that I'm probably mildly competitive. Maybe to a bit of a fault. It's unhealthy at some point. But so when I heard the Great Challenge, of course, I'm like, I'm in, let's do it. And then as, we kind of got into it and the small group and, Heather and I finished reading the book, I was like, all right, a little bit nervous around, some of it, because it's a great challenge. It's not just, let's try this. It's going to push us outside of our comfort zone. So there was definitely a little bit of hesitation as we got towards the end of it, but still very excited. And, I'm stoked to do it with our small group. We have everybody together doing it. And
yeah, why don't you maybe expand on it a little bit? Why do you think being in the challenge group in that is actually going to help you in this?
I think there's accountability to each other that, we all want to do it. We all want to, have a chance to share our stories that, as we kind of go through it. And again, we're stretched and pushed outside of our comfort zone. And then also I can support everybody else in the group. So, I think it's going to be great. Now, obviously with Heather, I'll support her and she'll support me and we'll, have a great conversation. So, at the end of the day, it's anything that pushes you outside of your comfort zone. That's where growth really happens. So I'm okay with it. I understand that. But I think so doing where the group's going to be, it'll make it easier and better. And I think more beneficial for everybody.
So what's maybe one piece of encouragement that you would have for people that are not in a group yet?
Join a group. Surround yourself with friends and people from our church family. And then I think as you go through it, once you get into your group, just be committed to it and be vulnerable and encourage others to be vulnerable. In our group, we have it's a very tight knit. We've got a very strong supportive group and we support each other in all things that we're walking through in life. So I would say definitely get into a group, be vulnerable, be honest, and then support your family. It's that's what's going to get us all through it for sure. And I say through it, I don't mean it negatively. I mean it's going to help us, grow in this challenge. So.
Yeah. Well, I love that you're in it with us. I love that your whole family has jumped on board with the kids and the students and walking through all of that, and to be able to be praying this week and taking this great challenge. So I'm looking forward to it, man. And hopefully God will really reveal to you that the Cardinals are the best team. So I know I'm trying. Chris, thanks for joining me, man. I appreciate it, buddy.
Hey, thanks, Mark.
Hey, welcome to week number 2 of the Great Challenge. I am so glad that you're taking this journey with us. Whether you would consider yourself a devout follower of Jesus, you've been connected in church and following Jesus for a long time, or maybe you're just kind of on the sidelines checking out church, checking out Christianity. You got questions about the Bible and God and all this stuff. I am even more thrilled that you're taking the challenge, that you're taking this journey with us, see, what could happen if I put some of Jesus's teaching into practice? I believe you're going to see some amazing things over the next couple weeks, whether you're brand new, whether you're exploring, or whether you're a lifelong follower of Jesus. Now, this week, you're getting your first assignment. You are getting your first challenge, and it's all about serving people under your authority. Now, you might at first hear that, like, what exactly do you mean by that? What could that look like? When I was in college, my wife Adrian and I worked for an engineering company that was it was awesome. Great people to work for. They were flexible with our schedule. You see, we were both students, full-time students at Arizona State University. Now, I had a scholarship when I was in college. I earned it when I was in high school, and it was paying for my tuition. It was covering all the expenses, but my wife Adrian didn't. Now, back then, it's like I'm talking about the olden days, but back then, you could actually pay for your tuition as you went along if you had a job. I mean, it wasn't easy, but the tuition was low enough that if you worked hard enough, if you saved money, if she worked during the summers and on breaks, she could keep up with her bills, pay for her tuition, and everything was great, as long as nothing crazy happened. Well, it's college, so something crazy happened. Depleted her savings, depleted her next tuition payment. She wasn't able to pull it together. So she was stressed out. She was worried. I mean, not to the point of like dropping out. Like it wasn't that type of crisis. She wasn't going to stop going to school. She wasn't going to have to take time off, but she was going to have to get a loan. She was just struggling, trying to figure out, how do I keep moving forward? The solution came when one of the owners of the company walked into Adrian's office. See, Adrian worked in the administration department. She scanned files, did administrative tasks, just simple things, and she just had a great team that she loved working with. But the owner walked in and said, I want to help you out. I want to pay for your full tuition for this semester, and you just pay me back for half of it with hours that you put in over the semester, and the other half is our gift to you. She was thrilled. right? As you could imagine, it's like this was the answer to her problem. She didn't ask for it. She didn't go to her boss asking for help. He just offered this assistance. And guess what? He did it every semester after that point. He helped her out, prepaid the tuition, let her work back some hours, gave half of it as a gift. It was an amazing act of generosity. He, the boss, did this for one of his employees. Now, if that was the end of the story, if that was all you knew about this, that would be an incredible act of love, right? That he served someone under his authority. He did something kind for one of his employees. But it's actually bigger than that, because Adrian was going to school for nursing. This was an engineering firm. It wasn't like he was paying for her to go to engineering school, where she could then at some point be a benefit to the company. She wasn't going to marketing or business administration. There was nothing in her degree that was going to help out this company in the long term. He was literally paying for her to move on, move ahead, and go do something else. That is the type of love we're talking about. That he was demonstrating love for someone under his authority with no chance of repayment, nothing for his benefit or the company's benefit, just an incredible act of love. And when Adrian graduated with her nursing degree and she walked into her very first day at St. Joseph's Hospital, she had a designer nursing bag from the engineering company. That they loved her, they encouraged her, and they celebrated this new career in her life. You know, we love those stories, right? Like, that's what it's about. And that's what this week's challenge is all about. Finding ways to serve people under your authority. Now, that's not the challenge just because it makes for a good story, right? We're not doing that just because it sounds good. We're doing that because that's what Jesus commanded us to do. For 3 years, Jesus traveled around with his disciples, teaching them what it means to follow him and explaining from town to town, village to village, that the kingdom of God was coming. He was doing miraculous signs. He was teaching with authority. It didn't take long for these disciples to realize that Jesus was the real deal. He was who they were waiting for, the Messiah, the coming King. But their view of what the Messiah was going to do, of what God's King was going to do, was a little bit off. They were really thinking about it in immediate terms. They were under control of the Romans, and they believed that Jesus was going to get rid of the Roman government. He was going to kick them out, and he was going to be installed as king. He was going to be in charge. There was no doubt among his disciples about who was going to be number one. But here's where the tension came. There were many discussions among the 12 disciples about who was going to be number two. Who gets to rule along with him? Who gets to have influence in this kingdom? I mean, even a couple of the disciples' mom came and petitioned to Jesus, trying to get them a good role in this kingdom. Everyone knew that Jesus was going to be charged, and now they're fighting for who gets to be around, who also gets to be an influence. This was not one discussion. This was not two. This was several times in Jesus' ministry. He would catch them having these arguments. And every time he said, that's not what my kingdom's about. If you want to be first, you have to be last. If you want to be great, you have to serve. Leaders serve in my kingdom. We're not running this like the world runs things. The leaders that you know, the authorities that you know, they lord their authority over their subjects. That everything they do is so that they can reap the benefit of the people under them. In my kingdom, it's the exact opposite. If you want to lead, you have to serve. Jesus taught it over and over. But this was so important. And it's such a stubborn attitude that we have and that the disciples had, that he brought it up again on his very last night before his death. You see, Jesus' last night here with his disciples, they were celebrating Passover. And the previous day, he had sent a couple of his disciples ahead to make all of the preparations, get the party ready. And they went to the town ahead of time and they reserved the upper room. And they got the meal prepared, made arrangements for that. They got the drinks. They were set for a celebration. They were set to have this festival together in this intimate setting. They had the place, they had the food, they had the drinks, but what they forgot about was hospitality. In the first century, in this culture, it was customary when you showed up to a party, when you showed up to someone's house, the first thing that took place was there was someone there to wash off your feet. I mean, it's really practical reasons for this. You're walking around in sandals. It's dusty, dirty roads. Not to mention, it's more than dust and dirt. There's animals traveling on these roads. There's other things that you're picking up on your feet that you do not want to take with you into the party. So there was someone there to wash your feet, refresh you, make you feel comfortable. So when you recline at the table with everyone else, you're just relaxed, and it's just a sign that you are welcome here. Well, they got to the upper room, everything's set, and they're looking around, and there's no one to wash everyone's feet. And I can imagine for a moment there, this tense, like looking at each other and who forgot to do it and pointing blame and what's going to happen when Jesus stands up and says he takes off his robe and wraps it around him and sits down, pulls up a container of water and just motions for the disciples to come over. And he begins washing their feet. Talk about a tense situation. Because the person that's a hired help's job. You bring someone in to wash the feet. That's a servant's role. Jesus, their Savior, their Lord, their teacher, their master, the person who they believe is going to be king is now washing their feet. It's just blowing them away. This is what Jesus said after he finished washing all their feet. He said this, "You call me teacher and Lord, and you're right, because that's what I am. And since I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you ought to wash each other's feet. I have given you an example to follow. Do as I have done to you." I love that Jesus explains it afterwards, like just in case they didn't get it, just in case this visual display of service, they miss it again. He said, I'm going to be clear here. I'm in charge. I'm the king. I'm your Lord, and I'm washing your feet. I'm serving you. You need to do the same thing. Follow my example. This is what Jesus was about. This is his upside down kingdom. That we don't use our positions of privilege, we don't use our positions of leadership or honor to pull advantage from other people. The big idea today is this, is that we are overcoming privilege with service. We're overcoming privilege with service. I like to think of service being the antidote. That if we struggle with privilege, that the only way we can overcome that is by serving other people. You know, my wife Adrian, it's been a couple of years now. We lived in a house that had a scorpion problem. Yeah, big deal, right? Everyone in our family got stung by a scorpion at some point. But over the course of a very short period of time, about 3 months, Adrian got stung 3 times. 3 times. The first time, not so bad. You know, some swelling, is intense, pain, but went away pretty quickly. The second time, scorpion bit her, it was a bit more serious, more pain, more swelling. That pressure, built up, and she was getting numb on the arm. The third time, this was the most serious. She was picking up a basket of laundry. The scorpion, it stung her on the arm. And, she knew exactly what happened. She didn't even see the scorpion, but felt the pain, swelling, numbness. But the numbness this time started to spread. Soon her whole arm was numb, and then her chest and her tongue was feeling kind of funny. And I'm just kind of freaking out here a little bit. I'm like, we need to get you the antidote. We got to get this figured out. This is not normal. But Adrian, my wife, this is what I love about her. She's a nurse. She knows how serious it can be. But she also knows the moment we walk into the ER, $200 copay. So she's like, let's wait this out. I'm like, I don't feel comfortable waiting this out. This is serious. She's like, compromise. How about we go sit in the parking lot of the ER? And that way, if it goes bad, you can take me in. Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna argue, at least so I can get her close to the ER. So we go down, we're sitting in the parking lot. She's sitting in the passenger seat, I'm kind of watching her, and all of a sudden I look over and she looks like a cartoon character that's gotten hit over the head with a hammer. Her eyes are just googly eyes, all these different directions. I'm like, that's it, we are going in. We need to get you the antidote for this problem that you have. She's okay. Everything worked out okay in that. She got what she needed, she recovered, and we moved out of that house, more importantly. We were done with scorpions. This week, what I'm calling you to do is to do the very thing that is the antidote to the privilege in our lives. And here's what the challenge is, just very simply. Demonstrate love to someone over whom you have influence or authority. Demonstrate love to someone over whom you have influence or authority. So the first kind of question is, well, who do I have influence or authority over? If you are in the work environment, that's usually pretty easy to tell, right? Like if you're a supervisor or a manager, if you're the owner of a company, if you have people that are under your influence or authority, it's pretty obvious. If you're a principal, if you're a mentor, if you have any type of influence, find an opportunity to serve people under your authority. So if you're a supervisor at work, find a way to do that this week. Now, I'm not talking about just bringing people donuts. That's not the type of service I'm talking about. I'm talking about doing something meaningful, pulling up alongside of them, helping with the work, going shoulder to shoulder. Maybe if you work on a construction crew, you get out of the truck and you go shoulder to shoulder and help the framers, like in the hot part of the day. Find a way where you are stepping out of your position of influence or authority and coming alongside someone and loving them. Now that's the workplace. But you might be saying, at my work, I'm not in charge. Like I'm not responsible for anything. I kind of do my own thing. Well, maybe you have some seniority at work. My dad worked for the city of Phoenix for years, and that was a big deal. The more time you had in the role, you got the better shifts. You got the better time off. You got the holidays you wanted. You got to pick first. What if at your job, you let someone who has less seniority have the first pick at holidays? Let them choose the better shift. Now, you might push it back, like, Pastor Ryan, no, I worked for that. Like, I deserve that. I put in my time. I already took all the bad shifts in the past. I missed all the holidays in the past. Why would I do that? Love. Love is why you would do that. To take any influence or authority that you have and use that for the good of others is to demonstrate love. That's what Jesus would call us to do. Now, maybe you don't work in a formal work environment, or you're a one-person operation. Like, I don't have any coworkers. I don't have anything like that. Well, think about it this way. How could you serve some people that normally serve you? So delivery people, the person that takes your trash, or the person that delivers your mail. They daily serve you or weekly serve you. Take an opportunity to serve them. Maybe it's the barista at the coffee shop. Maybe it's a waiter or waitress. Maybe it's a person at the grocery store. Find a way to intentionally demonstrate love to them. It's going to take a little bit of thought. It's going to take a little bit of a planning, but this is something you can do this week. To take the challenge to love someone under your influence or authority. Love someone, serve someone that normally serves you. To do this is to fight against privilege, is to fight against our natural tendency to use any influence or position for our benefit, not the benefit of others. When we do this, when you do this, when I do this, it affects the people around me. It gives them a demonstration of what God is like, of what Jesus is like, but it also changes my heart because it's the antidote to something broken inside me as well. Jesus said, do this because I'm setting the example. Not only are we taking this challenge of living out the commands of Jesus, we're also learning a little bit more about what Jesus is like. And if you're brand new to checking out church and the Bible and Jesus, hopefully this gave you just another picture, another snapshot of what Jesus is like and what he's calling us to do.
As Pastor Ryan shared, on the last night that Jesus was here on this earth, he took the time to serve his disciples by washing their feet. The very next day, Jesus had his feet nailed to a cross as well as his arms, as Jesus showed us the ultimate act of servanthood by dying for us. Jesus, because he lived a perfect life, was able to be the perfect sacrifice for the things that we've done wrong in our own lives. And what he wants to do is give you an opportunity to be in a relationship with him. Because Jesus didn't remain dead, he rose from the dead, conquering even death. And he wants to make access to a relationship with him available to you. So if that's something that you would like, we want to help you out with that. You can say something like this from your heart to his. God, Thank you for sending Jesus to die for me. I am so thankful that He served me by making that great sacrifice. Today, I'm choosing to place my trust in Him. Come into my heart today, making me a new person from the inside out. In Jesus' name, amen. And if you just started a relationship with Jesus right now, we'd love to hear about it. Please go to palmvalley.org/weekend and let us know you made that life-changing decision. There's plenty of other things you can find on that page as well, but we want you to stay connected with us over the course of this week too. So, whether it be through Facebook or Instagram, stay connected with us this week, and don't forget, take the challenge. We want to challenge each and every one of you to serve others this week who are under your influence or your authority. Have a fantastic week, and we'll see you next week here online for Palm Valley Church.